Here at Apex Radiology, we understand that your health is our most valuable treasure. With our state-of-the-art mammogram services, we extend our promise in offering the highest quality care. Our cutting-edge technology ensures the highest level of accuracy and precision for our mammogram services, including general screening, diagnostics and tomosynthesis, a breakthrough in breast health. Tomosynthesis, or 3D mammography, captures multiple images of the breast from different angles, creating a detailed three-dimensional view. This means even subtle abnormalities can be identified, ensuring the most accurate results. Our dedicated team is committed to your well-being, providing support and guidance every step of the way. Don't wait. Schedule your mammogram today with Apex Radiology. Because when it comes to your health, you deserve the very best.
Image Plus Consultants Limited, IPCL, closed out their third quarter of 2024 with a 23% quarter-over-quarter increase in their gross profits. Today, Mrs. Keisha Anderson, CEO of Image Plus Consultants Limited, will be providing more context about the quarter in their third quarter earnings call for financial year 2024. I am your moderator for this call, Renee MacDonald, Chief Operating Officer of Learn Grow Invest Limited. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Keisha Anderson to the platform.
Hi,
Welcome,
Renee.
Keisha.
Good morning, Renee. Thank you, and good morning to all of your community.
Good morning to you. Thank you so much, as always, for continuing to have these earnings calls to inform your stakeholders. I'll hand over to you now to open with a word of prayer and to get started with your call.
Sure. Thank you, Renee. And before I start to pray, just to wish everyone all the best for 2024. It's really my true prayer that we'll have a year with a lot less crime, more peace, and good health for all of us as Jamaicans. So let us pray. Father God, I give you thanks for today. I give you thanks for the opportunity to share the plans, the strategies, and the results of the hard work of the entire IPCL team. I thank you, dear Lord, for all our shareholders, our other stakeholders, our patients and doctors who continue to put their trust in us. I just ask that you continue to go before us, that this call goes well, that you give me clarity of thought so that I can answer the questions and even preempt some of those that may come from our shareholders. I put the call in your hands. In your precious name I pray. Amen. All right, good morning, everybody. It's really good to be here in 2024 with you, and it's definitely my pleasure to share our Q3 and year-to-date numbers with you as we go through what we have prepared. I'm going to go first through the high-level company highlights and the financial highlights, the outlook, the closing remarks, and then our Q&A, of course, which will be moderated by the team from Learn Grow Invest. Okay, so I wanted to start first by giving you a sense of some of the things that we did outside of our numbers in the third quarter. So we take our corporate social responsibility very seriously, and we also ensure that we balance the hectic work schedules of our team with some fun activities so that we continue to foster a good sense of community and team spirit, because we believe that who we are on the inside and how we feel about the way we work will impact and influence the level of service and care that we offer to our patients. In the quarter, which would have run between September and November, we continue to demonstrate the expertise of our radiologist teams by participating in different forums. And you see here, we participate in the Jamaica Cancer Society Virtual Symposium. We also take great pride in being afforded the opportunity as our marketing execs go out and interact with the referring physicians and the public hospitals, that we're able to meet the needs, some of the average needs of our stakeholders. So here we are just demonstrating that we participated in giving back to the Kingston Public Hospital in the way of printers that they would use in their day-to-day activities. And that's one of our marketing executives, Carwin Brown, doing the presentation. The quarter encompassed breast cancer awareness month, which was actually a good time for us to showcase the fact that we had just implemented our mammogram services. So we did a editorial in the Gleaner, and we also had the opportunity to launch with a discount on our services for the month, which we actually continue to extend to December. And we saw, interestingly enough, persons choose to give gift certificates for screening to loved ones for Christmas, which we thought was a very useful and practical gift. In the quarter, we also had the opportunity to celebrate Customer Service Week, in which we get to acknowledge each other for the service that we give internally, and to even celebrate when we experience good service from our suppliers and vendors. So the team celebrated that between October 2nd and 6th, and then we also celebrated with our referring team at the Bustamante Children's Hospital in their activities. We partnered with a social media influencer in the month as well, and gave away free screening to one of the participants on their platform on Instagram. The month of October also saw us, I think it could have been October for Kingston and November for Ocherius, saw us participate in the Pink Run, which, as we know, is hosted by, I believe it is Guardian, for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and our teams across the island participated. So we had a Kingston run, and then we had an Ocherius run, and we got to jazz up our blue and complement it with pink, and really get out there and interact. And, that's really good for brand building as a shareholder, if you think about it, because when we're in the community and people see us participating, they stop and ask us questions about the services that we offer. So we get to promote the brand while having fun and staying healthy. The last thing that we want to highlight is in the month, we got to celebrate with our radiographers, National Radiologic Technology Week. Yes, the mouth twisting up first thing in the morning. And this is just some members of our awesome team that they dressed up in their shirts on that day, and they love to take pictures and enjoy themselves together. You work hard, you have to play hard too. Okay, what would I say from our performance perspective now? I would highlight and really say to you that we committed some things when we took the money from our shareholders, and I believe that we are well on the way to show that we're a company that delivers. So the first thing we committed was that we're going to purchase land to house our new 3A Winchester permanent home. And I'm happy to report that that was completed in the quarter, and our new land is at 33 Lady Musgrave Road. It is just under 0.75 of an acre, and we think it is a prime position that can take traffic coming from many different, or I shouldn't say traffic, because that's actually just on the outskirts of New Kingston, so it actually can take vehicular traffic coming from many different routes to get to the location. It's convenient, we think, easily accessible. It has, for our patients that take public transport, it has many public transport means running along there, including a bus stop very, very close to our location. We will tell you a little bit more about that as I look at the future and what the next quarter and into the new year will bring for us. The other thing that we did, that we promised to do, was to implement our MRI modality. And I'm also happy to say that the machine is here. And as we speak, they're doing the finishing touches to implement in Ocherius. We anticipate that we are going to be ready to start offering services in February of this year, which is the last month of our Q4 quarter. And finally, we had committed to do mammography and to launch that service, and we did that at the end of Q2 of the financial year, and now we're seeing come on stream. The timing, as I said, was good, with Breast Cancer Awareness Month coming right up soon thereafter, and it really helped us to spread our name as we partnered with lots of local companies who bought certificates for their team members to get screening. A very positive development, I think, for us as a nation, where people see the importance of doing that. We also got to partner with some of the insurance providers, as Sagicor did screen across the island, and we were one of their chosen providers to actually do to provide the certificates that people came to get the screening. And several overseas diaspora entities actually that ventured this way and offered screening for Jamaicans back home. So those are the things that we committed to do, and we actually did them. So I think we are really demonstrating that we're a brand, that what we promise you is what we actually do deliver. Let me go now into the financial highlights, which I know our shareholders are very interested in getting a sense of. And so I start here first with our patient scan count, because we do know that the scan numbers influence the revenue that's produced. So this is, if you want to call it, the lead indicator to get the lag indicator, the revenue that we generate. And you'll see that year to date, our scan count increased by 8%. So despite the challenges we had in Q1 and Q2 with CT, I would want to point out that CT was really only below by 3% year over year. If you recall, our 129 Pro CT was down for an extended period. What we did to try and offset any decline in the numbers was that we increased our working hours for doing CT counts. We offered longer, what we call our dailies. So before on-call services start, we would also open on a Sunday from time to time, because the other important thing is, besides just increasing our numbers and the financial impact, is that we didn't want our patients to have to wait too long in between getting a request form and needing a scan and us being able to facilitate the appointment. So that helped to buffer to some extent the numbers and to ensure that they weren't even lower than what they were. So I think all in all, that we try to make the best of the situation. Our CT scan count was only down by 3%. On the upside, we see that we had significant growth in our X-ray modality and in our fluoroscopy modality. Our nuclear medicine and our ultrasound were pretty much flat, and we see that for the quarter, considering our mammography was new, we did 1,110 scans, which is in keeping with our initial estimates for the first quarter of this modality. All right, so having done that, what was the result? So for Q3, we see that our gross profit was up by 23% to 203 million, and our profit before tax up by 61.4 million. Now, because of the impact of CT being down in Q2, we see that it has not completely yet right-sized our 9-month performance, but we are heading in that direction. So if you look, the gross profit is up after 9 months to 557 million, up by 5%, but we do see the impact on the profit before tax because of the lower than anticipated revenues in Q2. So profit before tax was down year over year by 9%. I believe it was just over 179 million in 2022 at the end of November, and it's now at 164.2. And as I said already, our scan count grew by 8%. If we take a quick look at our balance sheet, we will note that our total assets stand at 1.5 billion and our shareholders' equity at 1.03 billion. What I would want to point out here is the growth in our property, plant, and equipment, which we would know is because of all the new machines that we have acquired and the acquisition of the property at 33 Lady Musgrave. Our trade and other receivables, despite the growth in the business, you see that we have been managing our receivables portfolio, and so there's only a minimal 4% growth year over year, and our cash and cash equivalents have grown because, of course, we are doing increased business, so we have more cash flow. Looking at the rest of our balance sheet, our liabilities, our borrowings would have increased. That is 96% up to 231 million. So as at the end of this quarter, we would have had the borrowings for our MRI machine and our mammo machines and the attendant UPS systems that come with those machines, and that's what's reflected there in increase in borrowings. Our payables, of course, just because of an increase in business, we see it actually going up because then we'll be buying more supplies. Of course, we continue to meet the payment timelines of our creditors, and so even though there is growth there is no deterioration in our ability to pay on time. And we know the impact of the IPO on our share capital, and of course our retained earnings that you as shareholders want to see grow and continue to grow because we have sustained positive performance. I wanted to just highlight here, as we did in our director's statement, the quarterly revenue, just so that you can get a sense of the fact that our revenue is actually returning to what you'd be accustomed to. And as a matter of fact, Q3 surpassed our Q1 number, with Q3 delivering just over 315 million in revenue. If we take a look at the quarter and the profit and loss for the quarter, well, the revenue we spoke to already, we will see that there is increase in our direct costs. Our direct costs here would be our professional fees and the cost of our medical and imaging supplies. Our medical and imaging supplies, we have seen the impact of inflation and the exchange rate here, and we have tried as hard as possible to maintain our pricing, because we have to be conscious of the economic environment in which we operate. But we do believe it's time to revisit to ensure that the margin that we are aiming to have is maintained. And so we'll be looking at our price list for the new year, not with the view to do significant increases all across, but only to do an increase where the cost of an input material, for example, in our CT scans that use contrast, the contrast itself went up in excess of double digits, over 10%. And so that would be something that we'd have to revisit pricing on, because we do see the growth in our direct costs. Our admin expenses also would have grown. And I would have spoken to in the Q2 earnings call the fact that we had to do salary repricing for some of our technical positions, because in keeping with the public sector wage renegotiations, it became a situation where working in the public sector as a radiographer was more lucrative than working in the private sector. So to retain our talent and continue to keep them motivated, we would have to adjust in keeping with the salary scales of the public sector. And so that would have impacted there. We'd have also increased our staff count to some extent as we prepared for the new modalities, because with new modalities you would have to have new team members to be able to execute there. So we got more persons to support with mammos and our upcoming MRIs. And as we continue to grow, we would have had a few other adjustments in terms of our number of team members in customer service. So overall, our operating profit for the quarter, we saw an increase, and our profit before tax went down because of the growth in admin expenses. The profit after tax, however, went up by 159%, as we would have had the positive impact of not paying income tax, now being a junior market listed entity. You're working with me. All right, so our cash flow, what would I want to highlight here? I think as the question would be, the cash from financing would be as a result of the loan disbursements that we would have received. Our cash from operations would continue to grow as we grow our revenue, and the cash used in investing, it would have decreased because all the monies that we had from the IPO on investment would have been removed as we paid that out to the vendor for the property that we bought. And that really kind of summarizes the major cash flow changes for the quarter and year over year. Okay, so what is the outlook for what's happening? I think that what we have demonstrated as an entity is that we were able to manage through the challenge of the CT machine being down. Yes, it did impact our revenue numbers, but I think because of the experience of our combined team, you would have noted that the impact was managed, and we prepared ourselves for what I would call, for lack of a better word, the recovery period, when all our machines were back up and running and modalities on full offer. Outside of that, I would say that the future continues to be very, very bright. So given what we have achieved thus far and what we have left to do, the areas of focus would be on, one, looking at the property at 33 LMR. We prepared a brief in terms of what we require and the square footage that we require to offer services, not just now, but looking at growth for the future. And so we shared that with an architect, and we have received a design. So we'll continue to finalize those designs and determine any approvals that we require, and to also look at the different opportunities that are open to us to actually now develop that property. We're not at this time thinking that we're going to do it by ourselves. But what is very clear is that the property being ours would represent an important stake in that project and would ensure that our goal of owning our home for our 3A Winchester Road location, as well as for our headquarter operations, would be realized. We also are looking at the implementation of the MRI modality. So it being put in for February, we'll now look at what we need to do to ensure that we grow it in keeping with our projections and ensure that our marketing team is on the road advising people that it is now here. You may recall, our shareholders, that we actually have a 30% stake in WMRI, which is in Kingston, but this is now going to be our 100% owned MRI facility in Ocho Rios. And we chose that location strategically based on the offerings in that area and the surrounding communities and the opportunities that exist based on the demand for that service, and to provide that kind of imaging for doctors and their patients in that area. And then we are also examining some opportunities that have come across our what I call purview, to look at ways that we can grow inorganically. So organic growth would be growth from us just word of mouth, increasing our number of patients, our marketing team going out there, we're giving good service so that the word of mouth of our patients tell other family members to come and try us out. Because we do know that even though a patient may get a referral form from their doctor with the test to be done, even if it's another entity, patients call around and they check prices and they take advice from those that they trust. So we grow organically that way, but we're going to look at our inorganic growth opportunities, because we did indicate at a high level we wanted to look at expanding our footprint. And so if those opportunities present themselves, as a few are now, we're going to examine them in the best interest of our company and you, our shareholders. And we are at this point looking at the plans for the new financial year. So we would have done a 3-year kind of forecast and strategic roadmap. And of course, you continue to refine that. And now going into a new year that starts March, we'll be looking at our budget and those specific plans and determining what it is that we have to do. So we continue to be very excited. We do note developments in the marketplace. We do note where we see other competitors either expanding or contracting. We do note the feedback that we get from the Ministry of Health as put out in the different statements from the ministry about what their plans are. And we're also always looking at how we can support and supplement to make a difference for healthcare in Jamaica. And I think that's what I want to say for now, and I invite your questions.
Thank you so much for such a comprehensive review. As always, Keisha, we appreciate that. And congratulations to you and the IPCL team for an excellent quarter, and not just an excellent quarter, but for remaining accountable to your stakeholders and for delivering on the things that you promised in your IPO. It is beautiful to see.
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of the hardworking team and all the people that continue to support us, I thank you.
You're most welcome. So we have a number of questions from our audience, and we're going to get straight into them.
Sure.
The first one is from the Learn, Grow, Invest community, and it asks, did the company experience any machine downtime in this quarter?
Boy, am I happy to say no. No, we didn't. Outside of when we may have taken our machines for routine servicing, which we try to do that on a day where we're not working, for example, a Sunday. But no, we didn't.
Okay, thank you for that. I know in the Q2 earnings call, you would have mentioned that machine downtime is a norm in the industry. So to have none is truly a blessing.
And I want to just assure, even about the 129 Pro CT, even though I can't see the future, I would say that we did what we ended up doing is replacing, if I use the analogy of like a phone, so the phone has an operating system and it has all the different parts, the camera, etc. But the case is, you can pretty much looks the same, doesn't change in terms of style and features, etc. We change most of the operating parts of our CT machine there. So I don't anticipate any significant downtime coming from that unit, and our other units are newer units. So, I think that's something that we have overcome that challenge and early on in the game.
That's encouraging to hear. Thank you. The next question is, are you expecting the company to beat your 2022 net profit?
I wonder why they want to put me on the spot for that. And so I'm going to have to do my normal disclaimer that past performance is not an indicator of future performance. But I would say if you look at our numbers in terms of our scan count and you look at where we are in terms of our revenue to date, then I think you can estimate that our revenue numbers will be ahead. And if you look at where we are now at the 9 months for profit, I think we're heading in the right direction. That's how I would put it at this point.
Well said. Will we see a dramatic increase in the insurance costs for 2024? I know this is a great concern because insurance costs in general have been increasing. So the community would like to know if you will be seeing that as well for 2024.
Well, we did see some increase already in the cost to insure like our locations and our equipment. So I think we have seen the impact of that already in this financial year. I don't anticipate much more for the new financial year. I think where the general insurance rates have pretty much stabilized, and the benefit that consumers got in the years prior, they would say corrected, but adjusted for this year. So I don't anticipate seeing much more. Of course, we would have added the new machines to our cover, so there'll be some increase there, but it's not going to be material enough that it will affect negatively or admin expense costs.
Understood. Were all outstanding receivables collected for the year 2022?
For the year 2022?
Maybe
You
we
mean
mean
for the
23.
last financial year? For the last financial year? Okay,
Yeah,
all
maybe
right.
we mean 23.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything material outstanding for more than 365 days, but I will just ask our chief accountant, Marcia Dolphy, just to verify that, and I'll come back and clarify if I'm incorrect. But I don't think we have anything material outstanding for more than 365 days.
Appreciate that response, and we'll come back to it as you said.
Yes, if she finds something. If I don't, that means there's nothing.
Great. Can you explain the director's loan on the financial statement of 31 million?
Sure. And that's actually something that we were hoping to have cleared before the quarter when we got it. So it really is a cash flow timing situation that we recognized and said, okay, we needed some short-term financing. You know that for an investor such as our director, interest rates and the offer out there would have been falling. So when the opportunity presented itself and we shared with our board, then we got the kind offer from our director, and we decided to take it. So it's a short-term loan based on some of the immediate cash flow needs that we had and the timing of the cash flow statements that we projected. So it is something that we anticipate paying back in short order. It's one amount, it was in US dollars, and it's a rate of 4%, which is very attractive for us to get financing at that rate.
Okay, I think most business owners can appreciate that, and just investors in general can appreciate
Yeah, and if
that.
you think about it, so it's kind of like what the consumer would know as bridge financing. So it's a bridge between when we anticipated to get some cash flow and when we need it immediately at a cheaper source.
Absolutely. The next question. Well, there's a statement first. There was no financial investment this time around. Why is that?
Because we bought property. So we converted our cash into an asset, a tangible asset that over time is going to appreciate in value. So we took out all of the money that we got from the IPO and we put it into our investment to purchase a cash purchase for 33 LMR. What that meant is that we actually borrowed to buy the new machines. And in the event that rate wants to be known, we were able to negotiate a fixed Jamaican dollar rate of 8% for a 5-year facility to buy the MRI, the mammo, and the attendant UPSs. And we didn't get 100% financing. I believe we got it at 80% financing. But again, Marcy will verify if I said anything incorrectly there. But yes. So that's why there's no cash, because we put that cash to work in an asset class that always appreciates, real estate.
Yes, absolutely. So it is an investment It is an investment, speaking to our community now. It's just different from what you would have seen in
Cash.
the previous quarters. Right?
Yes.
What will the budget be for the new flagship location? Now, I
Oh,
know this was asked in Q2, and you had explained that based on where you were in the process, you weren't yet able to say so. Are you in a position now to better estimate that, or do we still need to wait a little longer?
no, you're going to wait one more quarter until Q4. And I tell you why. So remember now, we'd have the land, we would be looking and determining, okay, what's our space requirement? And we don't want to do spaces that we need now, but space that we can see serving us for the future. And then the building that could be accommodated based on the land and the different codes, etc., would mean that there's excess space. So in so doing, we would then determine based on that, our space is specialized because it's for medical use. So therefore, the cost to develop our space will be different per square foot than the rest of the space, for example, if it is just for commercial activity. And so that would be taken into account. Also, if we're looking at the development, we'll be looking at, okay, what is the cost of the building as opposed to the cost of outfitting the building with the new machines, etc., that we want to buy. And we were looking at, okay, what are the choices that are there for us? Would it mean going back to raise more capital in some form on the market? Would it mean partnering with somebody that we continue to retain our ownership in the space that we use, but they own the rest of it? Would it mean that even partnering with different providers of services to have them have a stake in it? So we're looking at best options in the best interest of ourselves and our shareholders. And we will have something more concrete to say at the end of Q4 or even at our AGM, because by then we anticipate that we would be well on our way. This is something that we want to see realized in 15 to 18 months. So we would definitely know the next time we speak.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
What will the source of funding be for the new flagship location? You just mentioned that, so I don't know if there's anything else or if you want to reiterate what was just said.
Well, I guess, I mean, there are options. Raising the capital ourselves from the market in many different forums exist for that, or forms rather than forums exist for that. There is the option to partner with somebody. And if you think of partnership, you think of who, because every transaction can be win-win, eh? That's my personal philosophy. You think of who would actually want to invest in something like this real estate build out for the long term, and you can think of many pension funds where they look at the options that they have to invest now. That would be something open to them, as well as the mutual funds. But outside of the financial sector, there may also be other players who are willing to invest, and maybe doctors who want to be a part of the facility just because of the convenience of having their patients come for diagnostic imaging services. And so we have many options, and we're going to examine them all and come back and share with you the one that our board has chosen in the best interest of all our shareholders. And I just wanted to confirm that, Matthew, if you saw me look sideways, Matthew signaled that we definitely have no receivables over 365 days for that prior question.
Wonderful, thank you. And our next question, the phone lines continue to be a challenge. Are there any I'll say additional plans, because I know that there were additional staff added for your call center, etc., from the previous quarter. So are there any additional plans to implement a queue system or any other features that would help with that challenge?
Okay. All right. Thank you for that question. It gives me an opportunity to kind of give a little bit more clarity here. So the last time we met, we spoke about the staffing. The other thing we decided to do was take a deeper look at the technology, because we kept getting the feedback as the community gave us, and we would get it from our doctors, etc. We saw that we had a higher usage on our COGs and through our WhatsApp. So we decided to take a deeper look, and we did a technical assessment of the phone lines, and we recognized that some of the phone lines were actually not ringing into the location. So you would hear it ringing, but we would not receive it as ringing. We did some work with Flow. They had to lay some cables. They had to get rid of some numbers that actually just were no longer connected to us, but that were still listed that people were using. And we did two things. We have made it simpler to get us. So we are now using one number. If you get it, it reroutes to the lines that do exist and work, and that number is 929 Apex. We also put in some call monitoring software where we're actually able to see how many calls come in, how long the calls take to be answered, how long the agents deal with the call, so we can get to the efficiency of each agent. And our marketing team lead, Kerry-Ann Davis, actually would have gone through and done rigorous testing on the phone lines, and we continue to do a daily test. So we call our numbers on every hour throughout the day to ensure that they're answered on time. So I am encouraging any shareholder who actually sees that the problem still exists to give us a call at the same time. I'll share my personal cell, 876-383-031, just so that you can let me know that, Keisha, something is still wrong. We're calling and we're not getting through, because we think we have now conquered the problem, and we ask for your feedback. Well, it would have started in December, but starting now, since we are talking today, that if you see the problem persisting, you let us know, because we think we have addressed it.
Well done, and congratulations. Thank you for that. I know that the phone lines can be very challenging,
Yes.
in general.
Especially when you're trying to get something done. Because we recognize, that in healthcare there is a side to it that is the human side. You have anxiety, you get a test today, you don't know what it means, or you test for your family member, you don't know what it means. So you want to get through, we understand.
Yes. So it speaks volumes that the team would have gone to that extent to make all those changes. And I for one appreciate it, having utilized the WhatsApp service myself. So thank you for that. We will move to the next question.
Sure.
There is a comment that I want to acknowledge before the next question. My apologies.
Okay. No problem.
Elaine is suggesting or requesting that social media platforms and Google be updated with the new numbers, which is a great suggestion and
Great.
important.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. We definitely will.
Yeah,
So
that's where most of us find the numbers, right?
yes, that's so true. That's so true. What we're trying to do going forward, that 929 Apex number should be easy to remember. And then we have a few, just I think 3 or 4 other WhatsApp numbers that we advertise, so that if you want to just send your referral form, because that's a way you can actually get through to us. You don't also have to just call. If you WhatsApp us a referral form, we answer within a 3 to 4 hour turnaround time period.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So the next question is from Omar, and he's asking if the 10% discount is still available for shareholders.
Of course it is.
He did state that he had an issue to get that discount.
Oh, really?
So he's asking, what are the requirements?
Sure. I don't know why he would have an issue, because I tell you what we do. We have our share register that we post in our share drive for all of our supervisors. And once you come in and identify themselves and we verify you're a shareholder, we do offer. I know that we got some what I guess I would call them unusual requests, because we probably didn't think of them when we put out the offer, where somebody would say, okay, it's not for me or even my direct spouse or child, but I have a family member who wants it, and in those situations, because we didn't intend it to be for every family member of every shareholder, we've had to consider the circumstances and figure out how best to treat with, because it's really a shareholder discount for shareholders, and of course your immediate family, your husband, your wife, or your children, so we've had those. I don't know if that was that circumstance, but if it's not yet resolved and it's something that still needs to be done, then please call us and let us know and reference this question.
Okay, beautiful. We do have another audience member who said that they were able to utilize the shareholder discount and they were very pleased with the service received. So,
okay, happy to hear. And this their company, so if you're not, please let us know. We're all in this thing together.
yes, wonderful.
Yeah.
So the next question from our community: what are the interest rates on these new loans for the 9-month ended 2023?
Okay, I think I said it already, but I will.
Yes,
Yes,
you did.
I will repeat it. It's at 8%. It's a fixed rate for a 5-year facility.
Right, I do recall that very, very specifically, because I know we're listening out for that, whether it's fixed or variable.
And then,
So
of course, we'd
definitely
have had some kind of moratorium for the implementation period, and we start to repay after implementation when we start earning from the modality.
That's excellent. Excellent. Next question is from Prince. He says, your comments mentioned increased borrowings for MRI equipment. When will it come on stream? Which you told us February
Yes.
2024. So we're looking forward to that for your final quarter. And he was just sharing that as a shareholder, he was disappointed when he had to go to the competition with a recent spend for an MRI.
Oh, okay. But why didn't he go to WMRI? Is he not in Kingston? Because remember, we have a 30% stake there. We're not yet seeing any share of profits, but we're hoping that that company will get to that point in the near future. So next time, if you're in Kingston, remember Winchester MRI can meet your needs.
I think that's a great reminder. The next question from our community, should we expect a dividend payment anytime soon?
Oh my. Oh, that question takes so long.
Right? It came right at the heart.
Let me put it this way. Your directors are very motivated to ensure that the shareholders who we know are counting on some kind of return in addition to what was already received to be paid. So they're very motivated to push management to ensure that we balance reinvesting for the future, investing for the future and the capital needs with ensuring that our shareholders are rewarded for their patience. So we're working on it.
Thank you so much for that. I think that closes out our questions. I will say to our audience, if there are any other questions, this is the time to put them in the comments so that we can field them to Keisha for her response. And Elaine is saying that he's loving his company. He's always on the calls and always.
How he never tell me he's loving his company, but he wants his dividends. But I think, you know what happened? I'm serious when I say we're all in this thing together, because the truth of the matter is that brands are built when people believe in a brand. So we believe in it because we're offering the service and our team members are engaged. But if our shareholders become a part of that community and even promote our brand or refer for people to come and try for themselves, it will do a world of good for us. And we're really in this thing together. We're trying our best to balance the real human need that we have to deliver healthcare with excellence and make a difference in Jamaica, whilst at the same time earning returns for our shareholders. Win-win.
Absolutely. So I would just like to say, well, before I do that, Aline is saying that it is telling that a director was willing to take that risk of making that short-term loan to the company, and it speaks volumes that they believe in the product and believe in the company that much.
Thank you.
And Prince agrees that it's a very strong vote of confidence. So you see, Keisha, you mentioned how come Alain didn't say, but he wants his dividends. He's just acknowledging that it sounds like no dividend right now, right? So
I didn't say that at all. I said we're motivated. So let's see what the end of year brings.
yes, absolutely.
And
So
we do have the retained earnings, so let's see.
Yes, you do. I did want to say thank you again on a personal note, just to indicate that our experience for our family members through the services provided have been great, and the mammography that was significant, as one of our family members did that test and was able to confirm that it was not as painful as it used to be. So I wanted to publicly state that, because I know that the company, that Apex IPCL, has been sharing more and more about the new modality and how it works, and the fact that it is not painful as the previous one. So just confirming that from our family members' own experience, that indeed, and she has been through it a number of times from the previous modalities. So congratulations on that, and thank you for the continued work that the team is doing in terms of education, as well as providing service and improving the service that is being provided in the medical space.
Thank
So I
you.
will hand over to you. You're most welcome. I'll hand over to you since there are no additional questions at this time. I will hand over to you to make any final remarks before we end this live. Thank you so much, Keisha.
Thank you. I would like to say in closing that we are approaching 2024 really with gratitude. So yes, we were able to deliver as we promised our shareholders, and we would have had some challenges, but we are grateful for every member of our team that continues to put forward their best and work through the challenges. We would have had significant growth in introducing 2 new modalities in such a short space of time. We would have significant growth for our support team. If you think about it, our accounts team members would be for the first time producing statements in a timely manner as a publicly listed entity. So we're grateful for their support. We are grateful for the support of our customer service team that through thick and thin, and even when they're not getting it right, they have a spirit of real genuine care to get it right. We are thankful for our directors that keep us on our toes, really looking at, okay, what is the outlook and the plan to continue having this company be a growing concern, sustain revenues for our shareholders into the future. What is the outlook for the future and not just immediate plans? We are thankful for our biomed team that with all these new modalities are learning so very much so they can support and ensure that our machine uptime continues. And when you start naming people, you get in trouble naming groups of people. But just really, we are thankful that the team continues to believe in the company that they work and put forward their best every day. In the industry, we do have some challenges in terms of just even the technical staff and people leaving the shores of Jamaica. But we want our company to be one such that people see it as a viable option to stay in Jamaica and contribute to healthcare in Jamaica. And we thank our shareholders for your encouragement and your patience, for holding us accountable. And we really are committed to put our hearts and our minds to create the best company for you. We're looking forward to 2024 with hope, the new financial year with a lot of hope. We see opportunities, some of them more strategic in nature that we're going to pursue discussions around. And we just think at your investment in IPCL is not just for now, but for the future. I see it as a stock that, you can, you say you leave things to future generations, that this will be a stock that will be here for the future. So we thank you, and thank you for your support. And we look forward to the Q4 earnings call and to share good news with you again then. Have a great rest of your week.
With over 20 years in providing quality service, Apex Radiology is Jamaica's premier diagnostic facility. Our services include CT scans, nuclear medicine, ultrasounds, x-rays, and more. We have 3 easily accessible locations in the Kingston area and 1 in Ocho-Rios. With our mission to provide exceptional and affordable healthcare, Apex Radiology is a clear choice for your diagnostic needs.